Hey guys, we're gonna do a gentle sacral release. So this is just to do more of a receptive pose, a restorative pose. This can be a wonderful thing for that integration period. So someone can do this at the end of an at-home sequence, at the end of a yoga practice, or even just individually right before bed. This can be a really nice thing to let the body soak, settle, and relax.
So, what you're going to want is a yoga block. If somebody doesn't have a yoga block and they still really want to practice this, you can use like a foam roller if you can get it supported enough not to roll back and forth. But really, a block is the best thing. I'm trying to think what else you can use. You can use like a brick if you wrap it in something. I like to give people lots of options for props because not everyone wants to go out and buy yoga blocks. Again, you can find them pretty cheap a lot of places, especially now. Yoga's pretty common. So you can find props for really affordable. But if people don't want to buy them, especially if they're just like trying this stuff, tell them to get creative. You can also stack like books. You can stack books. You just want to make sure that it's stable. So whatever they do, like if they're going to use books, a little stack of books, making sure they're the same size or close to the same size, and then maybe wrapping them in a towel or scarf so that they hold together and they're not quite as hard. So now we're going to set up like we would for a little yoga bridge, okay? And just getting the feet right beneath the hip bones, right below that ischial tuberosity, and then again setting up the top of the body so shoulder blades come closer to the hips, they come onto the body, shoulders away from the ears, triceps and elbows pressing into the earth, having the block right nearby so that you can just grab it easily and slide it under. And then we're going to slowly press the hips high, 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 not letting the knees splay out or flop in, pressing those hips up, and then sliding this block underneath. And people can find whatever height works for them. So that is the nice thing about creating your own prop. You can make it as big or little as you like. Now I like to step the feet away a little bit. And then they can have, again, this height is good. Some people who are more practiced in yoga, it can be really nice to have this like tall setting. And then you actually want to make sure it's like on the sacrum. So it's not really on the rest of the lumbar spine, but really more the sacrum. And then even widening the feet a little bit. Now, not turning them out or in, but just bringing them kind of as wide as the mat if they're on a mat. And so then you just rest here. And you let the head and neck start to soften and settle. Softening kind of everything. And if this height is too high for people, or even the other one, just go to the lowest height of the block, as long as it's on the sacrum. So this is like a low back hip pelvis release. So scooting away from it or scooting the block down. So it should feel supported, but not on the low back. It's not pressing on your lumbar spine. It's supporting your glutes and your sacrum. You're just relaxing here. And doing that either ujjayi breath or just a natural nasal breath in and out. Or I really love that deep, deep whiskey breath, the breathing in through the nose for about a count of 4 or 5, and breathing out through the mouth for a count of 8 to 10. I'm going to take it to what feels awesome for my body today. You can work with what feels good for yours or have your client do what feels good for theirs. And then, again, kind of palms face up and everything relaxes. So typically in a bridge, we don't really want our knees to flop, but in this position, it's okay if your legs flop, as long as they don't like totally fall out and you can't bring yourself back to midline. But if they want to relax a little, that's cool. And the head and neck shouldn't be in pain here. You can get a little constriction in the front of the throat because this is a heart opener. It's a shoulder opener. it's moving its way towards Sarvangasana, which is shoulder stand in yoga. And that's with your legs and torso all pointing up vertical. You're just on your head, neck, and shoulders. But for now, we're just relaxing in this pose, letting the tension that gathers in the pelvis just release. And sometimes people will have emotional release here too, because the glutes, hips, and pelvis hold so much emotion. If they have a lot of TMJ, I can release that as well. So jaw and hips are super related. They correlate to one another. Oftentimes you release someone's glutes, their TMJ will release. Oftentimes you really, really get somebody's masseter or TMJ to release, and their glutes and hips all of a sudden feel looser. So these things really correlate, and both are major storage houses of emotions and grief and trauma. And so just knowing that if emotions start to release, that's okay, it's natural, it's safe. It's really good actually if that needed to happen, and it does, that's just beautiful. So keeping that full breath happening. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Doubling the length of your exhale, right? So breathing in for a count of 4. Out for a count of 8. In for 4. Out for 8. And staying here for as long as you can, as long as feels good. And if you have to adjust, just listening to your body and what it needs and what it wants. Sometimes people get like cracking releases even in the hips here, and that's nothing to be alarmed of. If you do, it's just your body doing what it needed to do. You can also incorporate this one with the Prita Karani, or legs up the wall. And so that you can actually put the block and your buns right against a wall and then have the legs come straight up and down. You just want to make sure the legs stay together there. And obviously I can do this too. This is like a supported version of shoulder stand. So just enjoying. And this one is really awesome for increasing like your lymph flow, so increasing cardiovascular health. It's really, really beautiful for those things, especially if done regularly. Like legs up the wall, done for 20 minutes a day at the end of your day, helps improve sleep, cardiovascular health, and decrease stress. So those are just a few of the really awesome benefits of this pose. And it's restorative and relaxing. So I even will tell people, like, if you're listening to a podcast or watching a show, you can do this one in your living room, as long as you're just like relaxing into it. So that's, again, just if you want to. And you could stay longer, but I'm gonna shorten the video, and if you want to stay longer, please do. Please enjoy these poses each and every day. They will help your sleep, they will help your heart, they will help your immunity. And there is lots of proven science around those things. I don't really need to quote the infinite number of articles and studies on that. You can Google, you're smart. So, and then anyways, coming down from that, you saw I was up on the block, right? And then you just press up a little bit, just a little higher, and then just slide the block out of the way and slowly roll down. And then you can let your legs lengthen and flap. And again, part of the integration, taking a few breaths here. If it doesn't feel good to have extended legs, you can also just bring your feet wide and let your knees flap together. Either way, taking a few full relaxing breaths, natural breaths there. And then we bend the knees and come to the side
And come on up. So that was a nice integrative pose, a nice restorative pose, a beautiful pre-bedtime ritual. Enjoy.